Welcome to the show. This is Internet Uncapped. I am your host, Evan. Joining me, as always, is Mitchell in a brand new location with a brand
Mm-hmm.
new background and everything.
Mm-hmm. And just so everyone knows, I was moving. That's why we haven't been able to do as much content, but we are back. I got the PC and everything is set up. We are good to go.
That's good. Yes.
We are good to Flizzo.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't know what that was about, but all right. Today we are going to review Jackass Best and Last. It's been
Mm-hmm.
a bit since we've done a film review for everybody. Hope you all like it. I know the views don't reflect that, but that's a whole other story. In any case, to start off this review of Jackass Best and Last, Jackass was a television show on MTV back in the late 90s, early 2000s. It definitely was a very niche thing, but the movies actually really propelled the popularity of the Jackass brand,
Mm-hmm.
especially the first three movies.
Well,
Then,
four.
well,
I
no,
think
no, no, the
four.
first, no, no, no,
Oh,
first
sorry, three. My
three.
bad. Yeah.
Then the fourth one came out a decade later, but due to
Yes.
COVID, they had to delay the release in
Mm-hmm.
2022. And then there were rumors of whether or not there would be a fifth movie, and now we have Best and Last. Um, so I want to start off also by saying that Best and Last is not so much. It is a Jackass movie, 100%, but it's a very different type compared to the previous four films. The previous
Mm-hmm.
four films were basically it was a whole series of the stunts, a whole series of different gags and different things and build up, just in the same way that the TV show was, but bigger, crazier, more provocative than they could get away on
Yeah, and
TV
unrated.
and especially unrated, yes. And but this movie definitely has that, except there are also many behind the scenes and unreleased footage from the television show included in this movie. So this is definitely a little bit of a different kind of beast compared to the previous four. Now let me say this about Jackass Best and Last. This movie was so incredibly gross, stupid, just brain dead, don't even know what the hell was going on. So many things that you don't understand why things are happening in the way that they were. Crazy, graphic. There was literal poop flying all over the fucking screen. There was all kinds of things going over. There were testicles that were crushed. I mean, you couldn't possibly get away with anything during that runtime without something that and literal puke. There's literal puke. And you know what? I have to say, Mitchell, I kind of loved it. I did, because that's what Jackass is all about. All of those things and then some. That is what you are getting yourself into with Jackass. And, are they my favorite films? Not really. I was never into Jackass, but certainly going into this movie and rewatching, or watching rather, Jackass Forever, I definitely had a bit of an interest, just trying to get into the lore. And I've had a light interest. It wasn't. I'm not a super fan compared to you or compared to a lot of other people of our generation and a little older. But no, what you see is what you get for Jackass. There, you will not get anything less than what you are sold on. And
Mhm.
I think that it did a really nice job, really wrapping things up. It was definitely one of those bittersweet sort of moments for the Jackass crew and even some of the new people that came on during the previous movie, Forever.
Mhm.
But I again, what you see is what you get. It's gross. It's over the top. It's stupid. It's out of control. It is every single thing that you expect from a Jackass movie. So, Mitchell, why don't you go ahead and share your thoughts on Jackass Best and Last?
Yeah, so when we heard that there was going to be a last Jackass movie, they even addressed this in the movie. Every movie that they have done, they have always ended it as if this is the last one. So for them to finally go ahead and be like, no, 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 this time it's different. And I thought to myself, I was like, okay, how is it going to be different than the four other times you've done it? Well, Johnny Knoxville then goes into his medical
Mm-hmm.
and talking about how he can't do any of the things he used to be able to do. And you see in this movie, he kind of takes a back seat. And when you think of Jackass, there's four main people that I think people think of: Johnny Knoxville, number
Mhm,
one; number two, Steve-O; number three, Bam Margera;
mhm,
number four, Chris Pontius. Those are the four main guys.
mhm, mhm.
And Chris Pontius kind of had got an elevated role because Bam is no longer a part of the project.
Right. Yeah.
So because he's no longer a part of the project, Chris Pontius he took more of a bigger role. Danger Aaron was doing more stunts. Dave England got more screen time. Like Dave England's an OG. Danger Aaron. Preston Lacey showed up in season 2 of the show.
Yep.
So
Mhm.
he's not one of the original. Wee Man, he's one of the originals. Trying to think who else. But I think that's it. Yeah, those are the guys. And Ryan Dunn, of course. But unfortunately, rest in peace.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. True.
but
Mhm.
because of those guys no longer being available or around, other people had to step up. And I like that with Jackass Forever, they brought in new, fresh faces. But it's still, you want to see Johnny Knoxville.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
the guy. When you think of
Oh, yeah.
Jackass, you think of Johnny Knoxville. You think of Bam Margera, you think of Ryan Dunn, all these guys. I always remember Bam just going into they showed it during the movie too, the old clip of him just beating up Phil, dad. Like I always thought that was the funniest thing ever. And he's just
Yeah.
wailing, just throwing haymaker after haymaker. And I thought it was so funny.
Yeah.
But Johnny Knoxville, he introduces some of the skits and he kind of adds to the skits. Ultimately, he's not taking part in them. Like he's not getting thrown around, he's not getting hit, he's not doing any of that.
Sure. Yeah. That's
Mhm.
true.
And
That's true.
when I saw that, I really thought to myself, I said, "Oh, this is it. Like this is for real. Now that he can't do anything, he 100% is done." So
Yeah.
that's again, initially, I went into it thinking that they're probably like hyping this up a bit, but once I saw that he wasn't taking part, and he was getting a little bit emotional talking about like, yeah, this is it. I was like, oh wow, okay, whew. He's not just saying it this time. He
No.
means it.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
that was my initial reaction.
Yeah, I thought what was really interesting about the movie as well was that it actually was a tribute to not just Jackass as a show and as a brand, but to specifically to him, because there were a lot of clips, or behind the scenes, never before seen clips of him, that like he was like that was kind of in a way his brainchild, and other people were involved too, of course, but he was like the ringmaster, the show
Yep.
the showman. Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass. That was like that's the immortal line for the show and for the movies. I also thought it was really interesting that a lot of the movie reflected on never before seen footage that was not
Yep.
included in any of the previous movies, and other sequences that were not shown in some of those movies. Like, for example, I saw Jackass Forever, and I know about the Silence of the Lamb sequence,
Mhm.
and I already saw that, but they put in, I forget what his name was, but one of the other crew members, um well, anyway, one of the crew members was not originally in there. They had like they had two groups of guys, and they were following them along, and then they included this third segment that was not never before seen shown, and I like
Uh-huh.
that a lot. The bullfighting one, that was crazy because he had to get knocked. Johnny Knoxville had to get knocked on his ass twice, and the reason
Mhm.
why it was twice was because the first one was not a good take, and he had to do it again, and he had to go on a stretcher, and he had a neck brace, and and it was like it kind of like reflects like why Johnny Knoxville could not be doing all this stuff again. And I also kind of like the nice touches about like get your prostate examined and men's health. And yes, it was obviously there was some crudity, there was literal shit all over the place in many respects, right? Like it's a really gross movie, but in a way, it almost seems like they kind of wanted to add in a couple of different like really good messages about like, listen, you're doing stupid shit all the time, but make sure that you're taking care of yourself. Yes, these are done by professionals. Don't be stupid. Don't do any of the fucking shit that we do. And they've always said that, right? But it kind of reinforces a lot of those messages in that respect. And I think that's why a lot of the Jackass movies have always been kind of niche and even misunderstood, is because they see it and it's obviously going to be stupid, and it is stupid, but there is sort of that underlying message underneath. And I also think that it was really nice, a really nice touch to not just bring on a few guests onto the show. They had Adam Ray and Paul Walter Hauser, who is an actor.
Yeah. Hmm.
But I just think that the whole, it really was one of the, it was a tribute to the show. It was a tribute to what the show means, what stunts in movies mean, and comedy and community. And that's a lot of what I got out of it. And I was and I even watched, like I said, I've seen Forever, so I knew some of that going on, and I knew some of the other stuff beforehand. I still have to see the original three. I haven't seen the original three movies
Hmm.
yet, but it is to say I was very pleasantly surprised with what we ended up getting. And yeah, if this is the end, then I think that's exactly where it should end. It's the end of an era, and I think they really put a fine point on it. And the finale, which was them going down a big giant cart, which you see in the poster,
Hmm.
that was awesome. That was really great. So I was very impressed with it, and it was a job well done on everyone's part.
Agreed. Agreed. I one thing that I really did not like though
Mm,
is no Bam. No Bam. Current Bam.
right.
Current Bam.
Yeah.
I know that there's issues. I know that there's problems. I
Yeah.
would like for them to have come together and to sort of fix things. Bam was rough. He was having a lot of issues going on in his personal life,
Hmm.
and a lot of people attribute that to Ryan Dunn passing. But
Yeah.
I still I think that the Jackass crew, because when you see them at the end, it's Preston Lacey too, and this isn't really a spoiler. 'Cause
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it was like everyone, right? Oh, row. He froze. Oh boy. Yeah. Okay. All right. Just
I'm
continue.
here. Okay, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, the Preston Lacey at one point at the end, he goes, "Oh man, the only thing that would make this better is if Ryan was here," and everyone's like, "Yeah, yeah." So yeah, I
Mm,
think Bam should have been a part of it. But if they ultimately felt like, hey, we can't get him to commit to it, or feel like he just isn't mentally able to do it, then I understand that.
yeah.
But if they were able to get him into it, then I think they should have. I think they should have. But
Yeah.
that's just my personal.
Sure.
You know,
I know that.
Obviously there was
Yeah.
conversations behind the scenes,
Right.
and I know at one point he was saying like, "Yeah, I'll fight Johnny Knoxville. I'll fight," and it's like, what are you doing, Bam? Stop!
Yeah.
Like, knock it off.
Yeah. There were. I had heard about that too. There were conversations and also some conflicts behind the scenes, and it prevented him from being a part of the movie. But what I also read too is that apparently his parents actually came to the premiere, which I thought was really interesting.
Hmm.
Not
Well,
sure what that was about, but
so
you know,
Phil, who's Bam's dad,
hmm
Phil kind of, if you hear him talk about Bam in those years,
mm,
Phil was the dad of the group. He was the dad of everyone. He always tried to make sure
oh,
everyone was good.
yeah.
He didn't mind participating in everything, and he also took care of all of Bam's finances.
Oh wow,
And he was actually helping everyone within CKY, which was his older brother's band. He was helping all of them
wow,
manage their money. Phil,
oh
Phil
wow.
was a great dad. Phil was a great
Mm,
dad.
mm.
Now Phil Burnell, DSP, is a piece of shit, but
Piece of
Phil
shit.
Margera,
Bill Margera, thumbs up to you. Yes.
Phil Margera is the Phil. He's the Phil. Dark Side Phil is the Phil. Yeah, But so Phil
Yeah.
Margera, but and the serious note, like the way that he took care of his kids, and when you hear him, I saw a clip of him talking about every day he was just taking out the camcorder, recording his kids skateboarding, recording his kids doing everything. The amount of joy and love that he had in his heart watching his kids have fun, I was like, he's a real dad. Like he's the go to fathers.
That's good.
So
Yeah, no, that's great. I didn't know about that about him at all, so that's really
mhm.
amazing to hear that.
Yeah, no,
Um,
he was awesome.
that's fantastic. Okay, so
Mhm.
without further ado, let us enshrine the Jackass Best and Last onto the list. And if we can change the view, because I can't freaking do it. Hold on, Mitchell, can you get it for me? There we go. All right. So this is our rating system, just from a half star to 5 star, from real Anissa move to excellent. Mitchell, what would you give Jackass Best and Last?
First things first, you have to consider what type of movie is it?
Yes.
Is this a serious movie? Is this a hero film? Is this something that's supposed to provoke thought? No.
Right. Yeah.
For
I
what it is, it's fantastic. I
Mhm.
loved everything about it. I would have liked if they did more skits, but the fact that they paid homage to everything that they have built and showed stuff that they've never done before, as well as show the origins, like the origin video of Knoxville with the armor. Ooh,
Mm,
that was insane.
yes.
I am going to give this a 4 star.
Yeah, I have to kind of reflect on my rating a little bit more. But even talking about it out loud, there's no question that this was a really good time. There's no question how stupid this was. There was no question about, the thought and the craft that was put into this as a tribute, one last stand of the Jackass franchise. And these are, I like Jackass Forever. I would not consider these kinds of movies to be my favorite necessarily, but as a movie going experience, I felt like it gave me a little bit more perspective on the series than I ever thought that I would have over the years. And you know what? I think I'm going to reflect your rating, Mitchell. I am going to give it a 4 stars. This is absolutely really good. So, so that's that. Stay tuned for more, movie reviews. We are coming up is Spider-Man: Brand New Day and a bunch of others. So that'll do it for the show. Be sure to hit like, hit subscribe, leave a comment down below. Let us know what your thoughts on Jackass Best and Last are. And until next time, we will see you in the next video. Goodbye, everybody.